So this is going to be my second video on YouTuber trends. Link to the first one in the description box. Yeah. Acutely, this is going to be about YouTuber trends in the atheist, theist, great debate community on YouTube. But it might apply to other groups as well. The first trend I want to talk about is the general sentiment, especially among YouTubers who have been YouTubers for 3 or more years, to think that the golden age of YouTube is gone. Okay? To begin, I do not want you to think that that's the way that I feel or the impression that I want to put out. I disagree with that. It used to be that an atheist on YouTube could amass a giant following very shortly because of the relative rarity of atheists on YouTube. And there are some that still have that fan base that maybe don't deserve it as much as other people that could be putting out content in their place. They were just in the right place at the right time. They struck when the iron was hot, you know? And you can't fault them for it. They were just there, you know? It's not like they planned that shit out. There are a couple YouTubers whose meteoric rise happened after I began this particular channel almost 5 years ago, and their rise, you know, it kind of breaks that trend that other people put forth. In particular, the Thinking Atheist's rise. He did have his channel for a while before it grew bigger than mine. Way, way bigger than mine. But also Jacqueline Glenn, when she did the conversion to atheism on her channel at least, phew, you know, bunches of subs, bunches. And those two really show that you can amass subs without having a prior name in the atheist community and just, you know, having it poof happen. You know, everyone wants to go viral. Everyone's on this website in order to be heard. You know, nobody's here to actually just get heard by 100 people, you know, or less. Most of you get less. I'm just talking from my own experience. But there does seem to be this sentiment that gets put out by other YouTubers that everything that has needed to be said has been said. And there's no new topics to talk about. And I disagree. I think that new YouTubers come all the time with new perspectives on things. There's just go to the atheism subreddit on reddit.com. If you can't think of something else to talk about because you think everything's been talked about, new news articles get put on that thing all the time. And in particular, go to the new part of it, you know, where you can select that you're just seeing everything that hasn't been voted on yet. And just look at the fresh submissions. And there's bullshit that pops up in every little crevice of the world that needs to be talked about. The need for secularism and more equality in the world, religious equality for everyone, it is not dying out, okay? Look at every person who heads a secular-style group, especially the Secular Coalition for America. Ask them if they think that the need for this is dying out. No, it isn't, you know? We haven't won, you know? The numbers of people who declare themselves to be atheist in America has been growing over the past 10 years, yes, as a percentage of the population as a whole. But I think what's being responded to with that sentiment is the way that YouTube has grown to this critical mass whereby the number of people who want to provide content has now exceeded the amount of attention span that is out there. It's a supply and demand thing. So people get less views on videos, less people watch your videos because there are so many people talking, right? And more people keep coming every day to talk about these issues. And it creates a sort of attention span line whereby those YouTubers who have over 100,000 subscribers continue to grow whether or not they are putting out new content, okay? They'll continue to grow, whereas those that have been struggling to get there because they really, really want to put their voice out there, they're just not making the same amount of views that they did for the amount of effort they used to put in. And it's because there's a lot more variety of voice out there. There's a lot more competition for that amount of attention that's out there. There are a couple of channels that you can see that are completely resting on their laurels and still growing. In particular, just as an example, I will throw out there DPR Jones. Okay, great atheist YouTube channel. Largely not doing anything. Non-stamp collector. There's another one. I went down recently the list of atheist YouTubers that a website called CreationWiki had listed. I'm actually on the list. And I actually have been clicking on each and every one to check them out. And largely, if you click on their videos, you can find that it's been, 3, 4, 5 years since some of these people even made videos. The list is outdated on CreationWiki, but still, it's interesting to see. This is a snapshot of what happened 3 or 4 years ago when they made this list. A lot of these YouTubers just haven't been putting out content, and it probably is because they just don't see the same return for their investment. They don't see the same amount of views, so they don't care as much. There are some of us who have been around for years who are going to blab, blab, blab to the fucking YouTubes just because. You're going to be able to see a video on my channel probably weekly for the rest of my goddamn life, right? Because I just like doing it for the sake of doing it. This is my release. And there are other channels like this, And whether or not I get over 100 views per video, fuck it. I'll get views that fucking matter to me. There are other things that you can see from just looking down the CreationWiki list of hundreds of atheist YouTube channels. Another trend that you'll see is hi, this is just a quick update. I know I haven't posted a video in years. Yuki was one of the names that just popped into my head that just did that. There are channels that only make a video over the last 3 years. They've only made a video either mirroring a very popular mirrored video for the support of that other YouTuber, or announcing a charity event like the Madness, Mayhem, and Charity or DPR Jones's Doctors Without Borders thing that happens annually. And then they go a whole year, and the only thing that they post the next year is the next update, the next installment of that charity fundraiser event that happens annually. So that's a bit of a trend there that you can check that yourself. Just go down the CreationWiki thing. I will leave a link in the description box to that list of atheist YouTubers. I've already given a list of like what people I'm subscribed to before on my blog spot that's connected to this channel, but go ahead and check out their list and you'll see what I'm talking about. Also, there's the final video. Inventor Gorilla made one of these "This is my final video" videos on the Disposable Gorilla channel recently, but he's not the only one. There are other people like Rand Campbell and others who will say things like, well, this will be my final video unless I find something worthy of talking about. You know? And you know it's not their final video. You know? And, you know, when Shanny is me, the... what was it? The Amazing Atheist, or the Amazing Ex-Atheist. That's what her other channel was. She's gonna pop up with other channels. When she was saying, you know, this is my last video. No, it wasn't. You know? Most of the time when people make their last video, they don't fucking announce it. You know? They just don't. They just disappear. You know, if they say that they are making their last video, it's almost like a cry for help. It's almost like, oh, I really wish I was getting more attention, but I'll just talk about how I might be leaving and maybe I'll get attention that way. I don't know. There's also the check out my new channel video. That sometimes does act as a capstone in the timeline of some of these old atheist channels. Like, that sometimes does. The check out my new channel video is the last video that they make. And related to that trend, there's also a trend of group channels. And just off the top of my head, some of them that are still successful or have already petered out and failed. Let's see. The League of Reason, the Magic Sandwich Show. Those are the two biggest ones, I would say, in terms of viewership. I just got invited to another Atheist Airwaves thing. There's Tuesday Afternoon, which I don't like Theo Warner because of an interaction I had with him. So I used to call that the Minor League of Reason as a joke. The Drunk Peasant Show, very popular because the Amazing Atheist channel is pumping name drops to it all the time, you know, shout outs and whatnot, and even mirroring content. So that's growing. An old one was the Rob Chart channel that Richard Coughlin was doing. There's the Breakfast Club, a little bit underrated because it's mostly smaller YouTubers. But I hope that one grows. There's the Gin and Tonic Show, which has been around for ages now, and I like their dedication. The Alliance of Demons petered out because it was mostly run by one person, which, you know, guilty there because Ponage All-Stars was mostly run by me, or pushed by me. And let's see, the Hate Club I was a part of, and Whovians USA petered out. I wasn't allowed to post on Phantom Lion's superhero channel, mostly because I didn't make the cut because I didn't have a mask like Jester's Court. So I wasn't a superhero because I didn't have a mask. There's Atheism TV, awesome channel as far as putting out that news that other people don't think exists anymore, that there's nothing new to talk about. Atheism TV is always bringing up new news to talk about. So, the Age of Reason show, the YouTuberverse channel where people from the Great Debate community, or although it's open to everyone, they're all playing Minecraft together. There's the Amateur Skeptics podcast. There's the Triple R Gang with Ron, Rand, and Raw. Right? Raw has not used any of the back channels that we have together, because we've been buds for a while. He hasn't used any of those to get me on that show. Let's see. There was the Saturday Night Roundtable, which turned into the Sinners and Saints thing. There was the Canon Guru Court that Brian J. used to hold. All of these were a bunch of YouTubers that got together. And half the time there's one large YouTuber involved. They get that one large YouTuber to try to sap off their population base for their subscribers, and just, get some rub. But it's YouTubers that band together thinking that, they don't share a subscriber base when most times they do. And they're going to have, a much more popular channel when all of them are contributing. And I don't know if it's going to work for everyone, but it does seem to work for some. Largely, I think that when one person decides that he's no longer interested in one of those endeavors, and he's the one who's been carrying it, it just kind of peters out. Another trend that I just wanted to put out there is the trending topic thing. A lot of the YouTubers who think that there's nothing new to talk about, they might fall into the trap of, oh, well, did you hear what Thunderfoot said? And, hundreds of channels will all say, oh, that was so horrible, what happened? It's like the Monster of the Week, Flavor of the Month type video maker who doesn't come up with their own content and just talks about what everyone else is talking about. I try to stay away from that, and I'd say 1 out of 10 times I just happen to hit something that somebody thinks that I'm just talking about because it's been talked about somewhere else, and I'm looking for views. No, I just had an opinion about it. But largely, I try not to do that. I try to pick what I'm going to talk about on, basically what I've been thinking about in the day. Whenever I do talk about something that others have talked to death about, I'll see comments like, "Oh, you're just saying that just to be contrary," or you're just saying that to be different than other people. No, I actually had that opinion. If you were one of those people that left that comment, no, I don't actually just make a video just to stir up controversy. I do it because I think I have some other perspective to share, and I want to share it. But yeah, there are some YouTubers that only make videos on the things that they think are going to get more views based on what's being talked about and what's being trending on Twitter trends and whatnot. It's almost like the Reply Girl thing, which was an exploit, but it's localized to the Great Debate community. Also, because I've talked about the charity marathons that some YouTubers only make a video in the past couple years because they have a charity marathon that they want to promote because they're going to be a part of it. Charity marathons that have the same lineup year after year, as if the golden age of YouTube was a snapshot of 5 years ago. And anyone who was popular 5 years ago is still popular now. And those who might have more subscribers than those people 5 years ago, they don't matter as much. It's like a very insular clique, right? I was happy to have been a part of the Madness, Mayhem, and Charity, and also the Doctors Without Borders thing that DPR Jones runs, just as one of the people who donated items for sale. But other than those two interactions, not one charity that has ever had a marathon, till to this video right now, not one charity that's had a marathon has asked me to be a part of it. And there was one in particular, which I won't name for drama purposes. There was one in particular where I actually had Becky Hale, a good friend of mine. She's the president of the American Humanist Association. She was willing to co-host an hour with me to support this marathon, and instead they put on some YouTubers who 5 years ago had 1,000 subscribers. And that was big back then. Because they thought that they would be more popular than the president of the American Humanist Association. That's happened. And maybe it's because I have rubbed some people the wrong way. I'm pretty sure I have. But really, it does seem like the same lineup of the same tired old people get marched out year after year for some of these charity marathons that have moved from blog TV to being like Google Hangouts and stuff. Because blog TV, sadly, it had to go because it wasn't growing with technology, and people were using Skype in order to have better group calls, and then taking that video feed and putting it out on different services. I think that Google did a really good response to the way that people were using other services in combining them all into a Google Hangout. They were a little late on it by about 3 years, but they finally did come out with a product that I think is pretty good. You don't hear that many complaints about Google Hangouts as far as sound levels or difficulty of recording the show, so I really like that. The last trend I'll just briefly touch on is those large YouTubers who have hit that critical mass line of attention span to the growing content provider base. Those YouTubers who've broken out of that and still continue to grow. Largely, they are all listing Patreon accounts in their descriptions, and they're asking for Patreon donations. And I did make a video on this that I decided to pull because my numbers were wrong. Specifically, I had inflated Thunderfoot's numbers by a factor of 2. And I wanted to get my thoughts on that crystal clear, and I want the math to be accurate when I actually do talk about. But I do want to put forth now that if you are thinking about supporting somebody who has already gotten a bunch of support from other people donating on Patreon, I want you to consider supporting someone else. Because those YouTubers that are already large already have a revenue stream in the YouTube ads. And you can check how much revenue they're making on socialblade.com. And if somebody's already making more than twice the minimum wage in America, and sometimes they're not even American, they're making twice the minimum wage in America, enough to live off of, just off of YouTube ads, maybe you want to reconsider supporting them with your hard-earned money and support somebody who maybe isn't making that, but is also putting out new content and better content. And if you don't see that YouTuber has bettered their content after getting all of those Patreon donations. If you can see that they've been getting 2 months steady of good money from Patreon and their video content is just the same stuff they were putting out anyway, reconsider supporting them. Please. Support somebody who might actually be able to put more time and effort into that video that you're supporting. That's all for now, but I am damn sure that there's going to be a YouTuber Trends 3 video, because there are so many things that I do want to talk about. I just want to save my voice for now. Cheers.